Hello everyone, this is Angel, Assistant Professor from the Department of English. In this video, let's get to know about note making or note taking. So first, let's get to know what does note making mean. So note making, in simple term, it could be the act of retaining the documentation from various sources. So in other words, it could be like a practice of recording information from another source. So this could be the simpler definition for note making or note taking. So first, like in this again chapter, we are just going to focus on few questions like when to make notes, why to make notes, and how to make notes, and various types or methods of note taking. So coming on the very first question, when to make notes. So I have actually given here two occasions. So note making could be done during a lecture. So now a lecture is being given, and now people who listen, they can have a notepad and they can record what are things being discussed here. This is going to be very first occasion, and the second occasion is going to be while preparing for a lecture. So now I am presenting you something, and if so I wanted to present you something, I have to prepare my own self, right? So I'll be having my earlier period preparation, and while preparing for my lecture I would be taking notes. So this could be the second occasion. Again the same thing. So while preparing for a lecture and during a lecture. So note making could be done during two occasions. So still we have few more points to discuss, like when to make notes. Very first time, like when preparing for a lecture, very first thing that we have to do is that read the essay or read the article very quickly, very first hand. Don't ever start with a pen or a pencil when you start with an material. So it's the very first hand, make sure that you are going to have a quick glance. In simple term, skim over the topic. So skimming, just have a quick glance. So second important thing, like all these things are going to be step by step, like how we have to make a note making. So second point, so first skim over the topic, and as a second point, start underlining the key terms. So this is going to be more like the scanning process, like where you focus on the important points. Start underlining the key items while reading it for the second time. So this could be more like the second method of reading. So this is going to be scanning methodology. So you may use different kinds of underlining for main ideas and supporting details. Like you can also use different kinds of inks or different kinds of sketches for underlining the important points. So like you might use blue color for main ideas, for red for sub points, and green for further sub points. So you can highlight and show all these things. And the third point, when you make notes, note only the most important information, not like each and every word you just focus and you underline, you highlight. No, never do this thing. So as third point, note only the most important information, right? Coming out to the fourth point, like when you make notes, what the thing you have to focus that condense the information before you write. So imagine like it is going to be some 500 words passage, and if it's going to be some 500 words article, so you can condense what is actually being discussed over there in that passage. You need not give the complete extract of that passage, like whereas you can have an condensed information, like you can focus on the important points that have been discussed in that passage. And very most important point, like again when you go on for giving this kind of a note, or when you go on for making a note, focus on this point, right? Omit examples and illustrations. So never ever include the examples that have been discussed in the passage that is being given. And the final point, like when you make notes, organize the condensed information in a suitable format. Okay, never just give the raw content that you have just worked on. So condense the information and then organize it. So omit all the examples that have been discussed over there and organize the information in a suitable format. depending on the content of the page, article, essay, so whatever the suitable format might be, you can select it and you can organize the condensed information, and you can finally have it as a fair draft. So this could be the things that you have to focus, like when you make notes. So I've just given you the two occasions, like when you are going to make notes, and now we just saw what are the things that you have to focus when you make notes, right? So all these things are going to be something very important. Then coming on to the next very, very important question, like why is it very necessary to make notes, or why is it very essential for all of us to, not like only school going kids or school going college going students has to know about this note making or note taking. Even as a professional person, we have to know like why this point is going to be something very, very important. It is going to be a valuable skill for recalling information, to recollect all the things that had been discussed on a particular day. This note taking or this note making is going to actually help us out. Okay, very first benefit of making notes, benefit of taking notes, to record information for future reference. So this point I have given in slide. So to record information for future reference. And coming on to the second point, to again for school going kids, it could be easy for them to recall during their examination time. Imagine like again it is going to be some 10 to 15 pages of essay, and just before the day of examination they have to sit and revise all those 10-15 pages, and practically it is going to be very difficult. So in that case, if so they have taken notes, or if so they have make notes, they can just have a glance, so that this could be an easy process. So this could be the second benefit of making notes. And then to plan a lecture or speech. So now I actually give a lecture, and to plan for my lecture I actually have a material. So this could actually make my lecture in an easier manner. So this could actually help me out to give out my presentation in a good manner. And again to plan a discussion, the same point is getting repeated. And then the next point, to record important points of a text or a lecture, again the same point. So now if you people are going to take an note, so this is going to be something very, very important, like again for your future reference, to present the important points or ideas of a text to someone else. So if so you wanted to share this content with your friends, you can actually make notes, and instead of just sharing the video, you can just go and give them the key points that you have noted down from this lecture. And as the final benefit of taking notes, to convey the telephonic messages without missing any point. I think this all of us could get benefited out of it. So to convey the telephonic message, though we have so many recording options, not like every day we could sit and recall all those things just by hearing the recording, right? So if so we have an notepad, our own notepad. It could actually contain all the things that we discuss in mobile phone or through telephonic conversation. So just by turning over the pages, we could recollect what had been discussed in that conversation. So this could be the answer for why note making is necessary, right? And coming out to the next question, how to make notes or how to take notes. So here again, like I gave you certain key points, like when to make notes and what are the procedures that you have to follow. The same point again is getting repeated here, like how to make notes. So you can identify the very first point, identify the key items or the main points that have been discussed. So now we actually have a conversation now. I actually give a lecture now. Not like every point is going to be something very, very important. No. So you can just focus on the important points for your study. So for your reference, you can just focus on the important points. It's going to be the very first point. And second point, identify the most relevant information. Not like everything I say, the same point again. And the next point, reduce or condense the main information. So you need not sit and take down all the 10-15 minutes of content that has been discussed here. You can just have it in some 3-4 key points. So reduce or condense the main information that has been discussed. And next, organize the condensed information and represent them. Just by condensing the information, never present the raw material to your or never have this raw material for your future study. Okay, rearrange them. organize them in a proper way or in a systematic way, so that it will be easy for you for your further reference. So focus on again the key points and the concepts, and again you can use short terms or shorthands, no? So you can use abbreviations, and all those things could save your time, and this could actually make you to focus on all things that have been discussed. Instead of sitting and writing the complete things that have been discussed, you can take it in your own words, so that you could make it easy for yourself to recollect things. So coming on to the methods of note making, here I have just given the general method, and we are going to have still more detailed study coming out of these methods of note making. Like, I'm not going to discuss it now, just going to focus on two different methods. One is going to be linear method, and the other one is going to be diagrammatic method. Linear method, just by sequencing it out, right, like 1 2 3 or A B C D, something like that. So 1.1 2.1, so all these things are going to come under the category of linear method. Diagrammatic method, again here we are going to have mind mapping, we are going to have flow chart, and all those other things. We are going to it is going to come under the flow chart, pie chart, and bar graph. All these things are going to come under this diagrammatic method. So in detail, in next video we'll just focus on this methods of note making. And again, end of the day, note making is done only for our purpose, for our own reference, not for anybody else study. So in whichever way that we find it easy to understand, we could opt that method. So that's it. Thank you.